Hello and welcome everyone to the Foundry YouTube channel. My name is Jesse, and today we are beginning our very first of our Team Foundry player interviews. Before we get into that, though, if you have any singles needs at all, you can find them down at fabfoundry.com. We'll have links in the description below. Anything that you use with the affiliate link we have will go back to directly helping Team Foundry in all things going to callings, housing, everything that you could imagine will directly help us there. So if you need any singles, link is down below in the description. So hello, Nathan Dollman, our beautiful Rhinar player of Team Foundry. How you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. As I said at the start of this is our very first of our team player interviews. We're going to be going through everyone on the team slowly but surely, seeing what everyone likes, who they are, favorite heroes, big events they've done, just overall things they like about the game. And yeah, we're starting here with Nathan Dollman, just coming off a huge how would you call it? Just some huge games being played at the Calling San Jose, and we're gonna get into it here shortly. So Nathan, some questions for you. Like, how long have you been playing Flesh and Blood? Like, what drives you to like want to play this game?
Been playing since probably right around Aria launching. This is my first TCG ever, right? Main reason I wanted to play was I moved to a new area up in Washington. I needed to find a hobby that kind of got me out of the house, meeting people. Needed to build like that circle. I went to a game store to buy a board game, and the shop owner threw me a Blitz deck, and that was the beginning of the end. You know.
Was it Levia that he gave you over the table?
He let me pick one. I picked the edgiest one. It was Levia.
Yeah.
That's how I entered this game. Yeah. Unfortunately, the brute life was painful at first.
For anyone that might not know, Nathan is a hardcore brute player. Started that way, continues into that path, but with a different brute now, which is actually a big reason why we are having him start our whole series here. So, Nathan, what is it that you did so big at San Jose Calling?
Hit top 8, right?
Top eight, let's
Yeah.
go. The second
Fort-
member of Team Foundry to hit a top eight at the Calling.
yeah. Fortunately, I washed out. I need to learn how to shuffle my deck after a deck check, but that's okay. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got top 8 this time, and then at Nationals, I was actually one game away from top 8. So I'm holding my ground there at right at the top. So.
hmm And I know before you were back on Rhinar, like seeing it as a good choice into this meta field, you were actually running Dromai, and you ran
Oh,
Dromai when we went to Charlotte.
yeah, everybody was telling me to stop playing Rhinar. They just told me to put him in the closet because I kept getting him right there at the close to the finish line, close to top 8, close.
Mhm.
So I actually put all my efforts into Dromai for nationals, and then 1,005 showed up, and I just kind of dropped. Didn't see my way in day 2, and I always carry Rhinar on me, so I pulled him out of my bag and entered the calling,
hmm
and you crushed it. No, well, reasonably.
Yeah, and at the Charlotte Calling, you guys ended up getting 14th
14th.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
14th with no practice, right? I
yeah.
had not been practicing him. I don't know if I had any games against Icelander on Rhinar at that point, and it showed. All of my losses were to Icelander. Well, 2 of them, but yeah.
I feel like that weekend was like a really big, like the light bulb went off in your head. It's like I can play Rhinar and actually have a really good game plan into these Icelanders if I'm playing everything right. I can just kind of have these huge Blood Rush Bellow turns against these Fies, and I all of a sudden you're playing a deck that you've been wanting to be playing, and it has this leg up into the whole meta. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
where do you feel that leg like really stems from when it comes to brute? And is it just is it a Rhinar thing or is it a brute thing that they
Um,
they both share?
yeah, I think Rhinar has he's a little bit safer to play, right? You can kind of play at your own speed. You don't have to worry about blood debt. Like you can take an off turn.
Mm.
You can get 5 frostbites and not implode, right? So he does have that advantage over Levia. I mean, I think honestly the main thing that made it click was just like the way the meta moved Oldham's showing up, Dromai is showing up at Nationals. He's got a pretty good game in the Icelander now that I've figured it out. And Phi, for some reason, I just understand the matchup somehow. I know a lot of Rhinar struggle into Phi, but through Nationals and callings, I have not dropped a game to Phi yet. And it was like, I'm thinking I'm on 6-ish games of Phi. So there's just something about the way Rhinar plays and the way I think that lined up. And the meta helped a lot with slowing down a bit.
Absolutely. Do you feel that there is any certain cards being played, any like way that you are handling playing Rhinar that maybe sets you or your playstyle apart from how others are currently thinking Rhinar functions?
Um, I think I'm a more defensive player than most people. So like it really started to show with Dromai and even Viscerai. When I was running Viscerai into ProQuest, that's how I got my RTN invite in general. Is I normally went to Viscerai, got my wins, and then went back to Rhinar. I've always played them like way more defensively,
Hmm.
stacking, pitch stacking, turtling. So I think I block a lot better than most people. It's my guess.
Hmm.
Um, and I just value my hand every turn, right? I try and block and attack to the maximum value that you can possibly get every single turn. And then I value my arsenal really high, I think is one of the things that I do that separates me. I think most brutes have to do that. You always stick a swing big in your arsenal because it's going to pay off when the blood rush shows up, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say like arsenal swinging, always dropping 4 cards a turn, digging for the blood rush, and then just knowing when to block.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like most heroes could like really begin learning their best ways of blocking too, but I feel like Reinhardt definitely has a an upper hand in that while also being able to like really shell out some high damage even with blocking.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about that like 2 card trade until you can cheat with a blood rush.
Yeah. So taking it back to the Calling at San Jose, where you were able to get top 8 with Rhinar. So just tell me about your mindset going into that. Did you feel confident that like you were playing a deck that you were going to make top 8 with, or were you just like every game we're going one game to the next and we're going to see where we get?
I mean, that's the thing about Rhinar, right? Like, I think I made this joke on day 2. Is like, I realized that every single time a person flipped their hero, I wasn't happy
Mhm.
about it. Like Rhinar doesn't have a free matchup. I used to kind of think that was
Yeah.
Dromai, and then I just recently lost, a big Dromai game. So, um, I was kind of just riding the high of nationals, pushing myself, knowing I can do it. And I was just like really playing very well. There was a couple games where I kind of looked back at it and I was just like, wow, that was an immaculate pitch stack, right, to close that game, right. So I was just kind of one game at a time. I wasn't super confident.
But I mean, like you really worked that little confidence you had like way up to the top.
Yeah.
Did you have any like games that just like are still sitting with you like almost a month after like any like big plays that are gonna just like leave a mark on you from that event?
Oh man, the my last game getting in the top 8 day 2, it was like my ride or die. Is either I make top cut or I drop. There's an Oldhim player, and the couple Oldhim. I think I had back to back Oldhim games at the last 2, and
Makes sense.
this yeah, there's a lot of Oldhims at the top.
Yeah.
And this guy was just playing so well. It was super tight. I got my kind of early lead. I was penetrating, keeping the pressure up. I get him down to 3 life, and I count my deck, and I have 12 cards left. And I was like, so he has a lot more than 12. So I go into I had pitch stacked 2 reckless swings next to each other, or close to each other. So I knew that my only way out, I didn't have enough intimidates to kind of like penetrate the last 3 health. So I knew it had to be a reckless swing game. And he quickly realized I was gonna double reckless swing him. So he started pitch stacking and not attacking me. And it was this crazy like I was clawing, he's pitch stacking, I'm clawing, and we're digging, and I'm playing every one of my non-6s and every one of my like non-blues. So I'm trying to get a perfect amount of 6s so I can cycle my deck endlessly while clawing, so I
Hmm.
can fatigue him. and he pitch stacked, played Channel Lake Frigid. Next turn, makes me pay or discard, and then heaves and pulver or heaves something and attacks me. So he basically forced me to have a blue, 2/6s, and one reckless swing in arsenal and one reckless swing in hand, or I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Wow.
And I got it off. It was
That's
super cool.
huge.
Yeah, the guy went big brain. I didn't expect him to do something like that. As soon as I realized he put that Channel Lake down, I was like, okay, this has got to be perfect, or we're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that is a crazy game. And
It
I
was
know
cool.
even like over the course of that whole weekend, I'd find you every now and again after your games, and you were just like, God, that game was so mentally taxing.
Oh, dude, I played. Honestly, I played on a different level than I normally do that day. Like there was some deep pitch stacking going on. It was crazy.
Yeah. So the way I've always understood how our metas form in Flesh and Blood is it always begins with a triangle. It begins with like the three heroes that are at the top.
Yep.
One's like back when we were in like Prism, Viserai, Starvo, we had Prism good into Starvo, Starvo good into Viserai, Viserai good into Prism. Basically, like was kind of how the triangle formed.
Yeah.
How you look at it. So I feel like with this last meta, our triangle was Fi, Icelander, Oldhim.
Yeah.
Now, where do you feel that with that being the triangle and also believing you have good matchups into these heroes, or not that you're expected to win, but that you have like a really good potential chance?
Yeah.
Where do you really feel like your best are of those three?
I mean, Oldhim for sure. It is a fair game, and you can lose, right? Like the good Oldhims are going to make you fight all the way for it.
Hmm.
Um, and then Icelander, it's probably what I'm weakest, one of the weakest I'm in. Like I'm supposed to be favored into that matchup. But the good Icelanders just hurt me so bad. I think I need a lot of reps into it. I've been reaching out to some Icelander friends for practice, but you're supposed to have a good matchup there. And then Fi is supposed to be a counter to us. But like I said, I haven't dropped a game against Fi yet. So I think it was just kind of unique that I could take the old hymns. I felt pretty confident into Fi's.
Hmm.
And, Icelander, I legitimately have like a 50% chance into right now as me. Rhinar's supposed to have a better matchup into Icelander. But for me,
Hmm.
it's about a 50-50. So looking at that, I have a minimum of 50% matchup into all three best decks, right? And the Fi's I'm 100% into, and Old Hymns I'm also 100% into in both of those callings.
Wow, that's huge. Not losing
Yeah,
to a single Fi, only to Icelanders.
yeah. I mean, it's the Rune Blades that got knocked down, which brings, in my opinion, Rhinar up. Right? Rune Blades are the worst.
Hmm. And I know even like at the first day, there were still like a lot of Viserais and Briars like gunning for the top there too.
Oh yeah, I didn't face that many at nationals, and I was kind of worried that was why I won. Right? Like I just kind of I got a bunch of drum eyes, I got a bunch of old hymns, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just like I kind of gemmed my way up last time. But this time, my first game was a Viserai.
Hmm.
I beat him, and then I beat two Briars, and I
Wow.
did lose to one Viserai, somewhere in the middle there. But yeah, I beat 3 out of 4 Rune Blades, so I was kind of feeling it.
Oh, absolutely. And you ultimately ended the calling at was it seventh or eighth place?
It's like a 4-way tie for fifth or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's right. Because Nathan here did unfortunately lose his match in the top eight versus an Icelander. But
Yeah,
going back to your comment earlier, you really got to make sure that in these, like when you're going to top eights or you get deck checked by a judge, you really need to shuffle up those cards, everyone.
it was so disappointing.
I was even standing behind you and I saw the turn where you had two blood rushes in hand and like no sixes to even like think that is an
Yeah,
option.
it was 4 turns of reds in a row, and then all of my blood rushes in 2 hands. And
Yeah.
I still got him pretty low given the circumstances, but like, no, you're not going to make it into Icelander with 4 turns of nothing.
Hmm. All right, yeah. You really are not going to do that.
No, you're
Icelander
going to
is
lose.
just
You're going
gonna
to lose.
you're gonna threaten six, they'll block, and they'll just wounded boy you at the end, you know?
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, it was rough.
So we just had a new set come out, Dynasty. I know that Brute did get a few choice things. I know you've made a deck tech for Blitz using the new
Oh
lake
yeah.
pieces that he's put out. We'll have links to all these things in to your channel, everything below in the comments. Um, but where do you feel Rhinar right now is positioned with these new cards? Like, you're not make a meta call, but just like where do you like? Do you feel better about Rhinar now with these cards, or has it stayed the same?
I feel a little shaky. I think the new cards are kind of too random. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously in Blitz they're amazing, right? I think Rhinar is a beast in Blitz now, but um, Berserk 33% chance to succeed in like a very aggressive Rhinar deck, and Savage Beatdown is very card intensive and resource intensive. So I mean, I'm testing those new tools a lot. I think there's some room for them. But a lot of the other classes that we don't have great matchups into, I mean, namely Dash, is looking real bad.
especially
That
now.
dude, that harpoon card. In the way I play Rhinar, like I'm holding a Swing Big or I'm holding a Blood Rush, and they just take that from me. My game plan dies.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried. Luckily, Rune Blades didn't get too much. It doesn't seem so far, unless somebody cracks that new card. But so we'll probably stay about where we are. I think as Rhinars, we'll probably be mid pack to mid high pack.
Okay. Because I felt Reinhardt did get a few like pretty good options. I really like Savage Beatdown. I thought
Yeah.
that the boots were good, but kind of only in Blitz Commoner type of feel.
I'm
Um,
experimenting with those into Viscerai and Wizards because I don't like to roll without Gambler's Glove protection in that matchup. So like they might come in as a guaranteed Savage Feast kind of big turn.
mhm.
But yeah, the new cards are just so different than the way that like a lot of the top Rhinars have been playing recently, which is they all revolve around discarding, and I have two cards in my entire list that discard. So
Oh, yeah, heck yeah, dude.
yeah,
Um, man, I'm not sure how much more we can sit here talking about Reiner. I know you could talk about Reiner
all
all
day.
day, every
Yeah,
day,
I do
going into the
already.
math, every single line of like every hand you could be drawn and what could be done with it. But I think this is a good chance to ask you now. So you're a top eight finalist. You are on a very well-known team in Flesh and Blood right now. Well, what are your goals, and what do you want the goals of the team that you're on to be as well to kind of reflect what your goals are?
Well, I want to keep progressing, right? I've had two back to back kind of upward trajectory matches. I mean, I know I can't hold that forever, but I want to continue to go up. I want to win an event, right? I think that's my next real objective. Is I'm gonna try and get top eight and then actually close.
Hmm.
And as far as the team, I think we're all working together to try and push, innovate a little bit, get better, and start grabbing some of those trophies, right?
Absolutely. We got two top eight finishers now on the team, so
Yep.
we're the trajectory is only looking upwards.
Only looking up, baby.
So little bit of a just like quick lightning round. No need to think quick on these things. We're just gonna like fly through them. Favorite Rhinar matchup?
Old him.
Old him. Least favorite Rhinar matchup?
Viscerai.
New deck you're looking to play?
Assassin.
Assassin.
Plays
All
just
right.
like Brute, only like one card instead of two.
Is that what people might be expecting to see at their first Pro Quest if you're attending?
I don't know if it's good yet. I'm
Me
trying to
either.
figure it out. It doesn't seem to have like a cheat card, so
Hmm.
it's like you're playing Rhinar, but you don't get the Blood Rush. So I'm not sure if it's good yet, but I'm gonna try. I love that disruption of grabbing people's cards. I love it.
Yeah, how is that as like actually in play? Because I played against a lot of Arachne on Talishar so far, but like the actual like art of reaching over to your grabbing their card.
It's for sure awkward.
Yeah.
I tend to give people the option. It's like, hey, you can just kind of pass me the card and I'll tilt it up, or I can grab. It is a little weird.
Yeah.
Um, you know, typically don't really want everybody touching my deck all the time, but okay,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Just waiting for the day we get like grabby little arachnes coming, just like reaching over, grabbing
just
your deck and stuff.
Cheeto hands.
Yeah. Ew. Well, I think this is a great spot where we can close up this interview, Nathan. I think this went great. A lot of insight into Rhinar here. Definitely this man's favorite hero. Yeah, anything else you want to say? Any closing comments? Plug yourself away.
Oh, yeah. Check out my YouTube, Savage Lands News. A lot of Rhinar content. Pretty much only Rhinar content so far. So that's what I do.
And links to his YouTube channel, some probably some snippets of videos. Those will all be in the description below. You just click away. You'll find him right there. He's on his way to 100 subscribers. So if you watching this want to support Team Foundry, want to support good Rhinar players, go throw him a subscribe and, maybe like some of his videos.
Hey,
they're pretty good.
Yeah. That'd be nice. All right.
But yeah, so Nathan, thank you so much for being here today. And be ready to see more of the Team Foundry interview series here on the Fab Foundry YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Didn't quite get all the cards you need out of your Flesh and Blood boxes to get that full playset you want? Check out fabfoundry.co to pick up your singles for Flesh and Blood, offering incredibly fast shipping methods or pickup and store options if you're in the local area. Check out fabfoundry.co for all your Flesh and Blood singles.